Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, sampler for these series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff and drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that, time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. We're doing a redemption review. I haven't done one of these in a little bit, but we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? It happens to be a favorite super cool shirt of mine, although they all are, really. It's boom! It's my cool crab shirt. Look at him. He's a cool crab. This is one of those, like, super random shirts where I literally just saw the picture of the crab as, like, a meme, and it was like, cool crab, and I was like, there's no way somebody hasn't made a shirt of that. And I looked it up, and sure enough, it's like, yeah, sure, you can buy a cool crab shirt. There's no greater meaning to it. It is just a cool crab shirt. I happen to think crabs are cool. Obviously, crabs of a specific variety and not the other type of crabs. But yeah, man, just, you know, crabs are neat, crustaceans and all that stuff. You know, they're just cool. In fact, I always wanted to have like a, you know, like an aquarium set up with like maybe some little crabs or something like that. But yeah, man, aquariums are a lot of shit to work with and stuff. Closest I ever came to was I had some crayfish, which to be fair were badass. Like I had one in particular who was super cool. Her name was Athena, and she was just a fucking survivor. She had me as an owner, so that definitely didn't work in her favor, especially at that point in my life when I was little. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why is it a redemption review? Well, folks, it's a redemption review because I'm reviewing, again, boom! It is one of the $1 Million Whopper contest winners, specifically the Mexican Street Corn Whopper. Now, I went over there, I reviewed this one about a week and a half ago, something like that. I posted up the review, all that good stuff, and I was a little bit underwhelmed with it, but I also mentioned the fact that, thing is, there's like a few Burger Kings in my area, and the one that's closest to me is not the best quality. Like, you know, and I don't like to say that because it's, you know, I like to be supportive of stuff, but they're just not. You know, they can be very extremely hit or miss. So I mentioned in that review, you know what, I'm going to go to the better one that's further out of my way, get it there, and then we'll do a comparison. We'll see how it goes. So that's what this is. Right off the bat, I'm more excited about this because they actually marked the damn thing, whereas with the other one, they didn't mark it. But what comes in the Mexican Street Corn Whopper? It is, and it was submitted by Kelsey from Nebraska, of all places. Don't usually think of Mexican street corn, you think Nebraska, but good on you, Kelsey. It is obviously Whopper, and then it's street corn spread, lettuce, tomatoes, Southwest tortilla chips, and spicy queso. Let's open it up, get a thing for the thing, try it out again. And if it's the same, then, well, yeah. It looks like, looks a little bit more impressive, I want to say. It's definitely more queso. So it looks like this, I'm kind of like, ha 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 ha. Okay. Okay. Let's give this a go. Try it out. This is better. God damn it. I keep trying to give the one by my house. I'm like, come on, you guys can. Sometimes they do, to be fair. I don't think they're bad people working there or anything, man. It's just, they seem like they're always struggling. Now, this is infinitely better because on this one, unlike the other one that I was at, you're actually getting to taste all of the ingredients. When I did the other review, I felt like the queso and the corn spread were really lacking to the extent where, like, I mean, it was there for sure, and, you know, you would get pockets of it, but it really felt like it was just kind of like, you know, like they're just being stingy with it for some reason. This, there's plenty of queso. It tastes like what I feel like this Whopper was intended to taste like. Yes. The queso is really nice. I mean, they call it spicy queso. I would call it spiced queso. It's definitely not particularly heat intensive, which is perfectly fine for something like this. You know, you're working with the street corn, Mexican street corn, which is delicious, by the way. Not typically that spicy, you know, it's got some oomph to it. That's what you're getting from the queso. It's got a nice little tanginess to it. Ironically, the one thing that they did put on the previous Whopper when I did the other review in greater amount was the tortilla chips, whereas this one, a little bit more sparse with it. But I'm still getting them here and there. They're adding a nice little textural thing, you know, a nice little crunchiness. And yeah, you can taste the goddamn street corn spread. It is actually evocative of that Mexican street corn, that elote or elotes, I'm never sure how to pronounce it, vibe. Is it a one-to-one? Absolutely not. But it's 1,000 times better than the one that I had before. All the flavors are there. Like, again, it tastes like what I think Kelsey had in mind with this idea. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, that's a huge deal. Because, you know, if somebody gets this as a first-time thing, that's the impression that they're left with. And, you know, it's one thing if I'm going to the one by my house, I'm just getting a Whopper or whatever. I'm not worried about it. I know they can handle that end of things. But with something like this, where, again, it is a specialty Whopper, it's a contest winner thing, you know, you really want to be able to make sure that you can put it out the right way. In the case with this, like I said, this is 1,000 times better than the one I had before. I like the tanginess. I like the flavors. I like the fact that, yeah, you do get that sort of street corn vibe to it. It's actually pretty proper and tasty, and I'm glad that I bothered to do a re-review. All right, well, 2 questions have to be asked, though. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Now that I've gone over there and reviewed it twice. Yes, as long as I'm going to the right Burger King. Yes, as long as you have a good Burger King to go to. Because, again, in this instance, it's all about the execution. It's all about how it's put together. If you've got a place by you where it seems like they're just a bit too stingy with the ingredients, it's not going to work. But, you know, I'm not going to go over there and say it's like the best Whopper I've ever had. But it's certainly one of the most inventive. And when it's done properly, when the execution is there, it's genuinely pretty damn tasty. Now, could you go over there and do a massively better version of this at like a proper burger place? Yeah. You know, let's be honest. You know, you could do a lot more to elevate that street corn flavor. You know, even the idea of having the queso on it, I'm not going to say I haven't had like queso stuff on like street corn, but like it's not my immediate go-to thought when I think about it. But it's not a bad flavor to go with. But I do like what it's doing. It's got some tanginess, a little bit of spiciness. It's full of flavor. And then again, yes, it actually does have a little bit of that street corn flavor. And I personally can vibe with that. So I think I would get it again. And if I would recommend it, I mean, yeah, man. You know, like, again, as long as you have the right spot, and I'm sure that I'm not alone in this, in that, you know, there's just, and unfortunately, as great as the food scene that I have around me, there are some spots, like especially some chain locations, that are just kind of dog shit. And I know that I'm not alone in that, where it's like, you know, if you want to go to the proper one, you got to drive a little bit further. But in terms of just what it is, it's a good Whopper, it's a good idea, it's, you know, inspired by an incredibly delicious dish. Thank you, Kelsey from Nebraska. I think you put together a good Whopper, and I would recommend it. But 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly elotes-tastic rest of your life. Or elote. I should ask one of my coworkers. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. you're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what would be your $1 million Whopper? You know, like, what would be your perfect flavor combination to go over there and, you know, and I really do hope that Burger King keeps this going. I would love for this to be an annual thing. You know, I don't know if they'll do it, but I think that would be great. I think for me personally, I mean, I don't know. You know, the problem is I've had so many incredible burgers in my life. Oh, by the way, because this is a burger review, it's going to end up in my Burgers for Days playlist. It would be hard for me to replicate most of, like, my favorite burgers because you just have to buy, like, higher end ingredients than I know that Burger King's going to buy. But, I don't know, maybe I'll come up with an idea for one day. Anyway,